Hi, everyone. Welcome to Curated by Becta's Easter Meal Kit 2024. Thanks so much for ordering this week, this month, and thanks for letting us be a part of something really special for you at home. We have a beautiful menu for you tonight. A lot of my favorite items, both the appetizer and the main course, are in the oven. So I want to go ahead and get started. So let's get rolling. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. I've got a couple things on a sheet tray here with parchment paper. First one is scalloped potatoes, or potato pave, some call it, and that's going in. Hey Google, set a timer for 18 minutes. Then we're going to get started on some other things, and I'm going to try to time this all correctly so that you don't have to watch me in between, but I may cut and move it along. Next, we've got these beautiful 72-hour braised beef short ribs. So we put them in a sous vide bag and we put it in an immersion circulator for 72 hours, and they get just this beautiful, dense, super soft, silky texture. You need to season them. So lots of salt and pepper on all the sides. Get them nice and seasoned. Okay. And they are going to be going in this seared pan. I love a good cast iron pan if you've watched this before, and most of you have. 1 tablespoon per person of neutral oil, in my case, grapeseed oil, but you can use canola oil or vegetable oil, something that doesn't have a high smoking content. Put it all around. Make sure you bring everything to room temperature as well. Once this goes in the oven, because it needs to go in there for 10 minutes, then I'm going to work on the veg. And I will, at the same time, we might as well put this on now on low. Our little beef velouté, which is just a really delicious gravy. Got our appetizers all specced up. The fish cakes need to go in for 10 minutes, but I want them hot when we're sitting at the table, so I'm going to hold off a little bit. I really recommend, if you have the chance to do it, do the appetizer first, then do the main course, and then do the dessert. So cook the appetizer, eat it, enjoy it, then do the main course, have some wine in between. For those of you smart enough to order the wine pairing, because these wine pairings this month are simply delicious. We have the Great Heart Chenin Blanc from South Africa. So Molyneux is probably the most storied and famous winery in South Africa. The winemaker came for a visit about 8 months ago and brought this Chenin Blanc, and I loved it. So this is actually a passion project for them, and it allows all of their staff to actually own part of the winery. This is a separate winery from Molyneux, and they make this beautiful Chenin Blanc, which is known in Loire Valley, Vouvray, Savinière, and it's gorgeous. Minerally and rich, sort of sweet sour combination, tropical fruit, nice acidity, and great with the smoked fish cakes. I want to talk about the red in a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fish cakes in now, and we'll try to time this up, and I'll plate them first. Make sure you leave some space. Hey Google, set a timer for 10 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 10 minutes. Google's a little slow on the uptake. There we go. Then we need to flip it and then bake the rest of it. We've got our frisee lettuce. We need to season it with some salt and pepper. And the buttermilk vinaigrette. Make sure to add some of the salt and pepper to this because it's very key to get the seasoning right. We don't want to add it in advance because it messes with the dressing. Frisee is a hearty lettuce, so don't worry if you do it a little bit ahead of time. The buttermilk, the acid in the buttermilk and the salt will break down the lettuce nicely. So it's still got a little bit of a crunch, but it's a little bit softer for you. All right, so why don't we get started then on the beef? So you want to get your pan nice and hot. And again, the oil is going to be smoking a little bit. Chef recommends that you put the hood fan on so you don't smoke the place out and you don't get the fire department called. I did that during one meal kit video. It was not fun. Not the fire department, but setting off the fire alarm. It's no fun in that. So when the water sparkles nicely, then you know you're going to be ready to go. And that's great anytime you're searing something. And that's why we use a canola or a grapeseed oil, because it has a much higher smoking point than olive oil, which will turn and burn, and there's no fun in that. I love cooking with olive oil for any low to medium high heat variations, but when you're doing high heat like this, you definitely want something with a little bit higher smoking content. In the pan, once it's hot, about 45 seconds per side, and then we're going to do some butter bathing. So I have one old spoon that I love using for the butter bathing. So you're going to get some butter ready, and in this case, 1 tablespoon per portion. Once it's nice and seared on each side, we're going to turn the heat down and then baste it a lot. I know that the Brussels sprouts and mushrooms are also going to need some oil, so let me put in 1 tablespoon per person. Probably put in a little bit more. And I'm going to start warming up the pan a little bit. I'm going to transfer it over when this guy goes in the oven. That's why we use a cast iron pan if you have it, which is great, because it's oven safe. There's nothing, no handle to burn on there. So let me get the right set of tongs, which I have way too many tongs in here. I like the metal ones for this, and we have a spatula in case we need. Your dessert, by the way, keep the tart in the fridge until you're ready to go, but all of the garnishes, bring them up to room temperature. So that's something to consider. All right. I would bet this is nice and seared. Whoa! Sure is. There we go. That looks amazing. So as soon as 45 seconds goes by, turn the heat down. We're going to do the butter bathing, and away we go. In the meantime, I can probably plate our frisee. Now, I used to, when doing this, do it for 3 of us. I'd basically set it up for 2, so you see how to do it. But then I divide it by 3 because our son was at home. But right now, he's at Queen's, finishing up his studies. So it's just for my wife and I, so we're going to have lots of leftovers for tomorrow. Okay, that's probably nice and seared up. So turning the heat down to low. Using the cast iron pan. Don't forget one of these guys so you don't burn yourself. Got my basting spoon. And then when the butter caramelizes like that, that's when you baste. Baste away for about 30 to 45 seconds. It gives the beef just this glorious, luxurious texture. And a little bit of sweetness and nuttiness from the caramelizing of the milk solids. Okay, so I'm done with the searing, so I can probably turn off the hood fan now, and that whole thing's going in the oven. Hey Google, set another timer for 10 minutes. The G woman over there is probably confused with all the timers, but it's good. We're going to make it work. I love this wine. I hope you did the wine pairing. Okay, So I guess I can move this over now, turn that off, because I love cooking with gas. Let's see how long the chef recommends for the veg. So we're gonna cook for 5 minutes and then 2 to 3 minutes after that. The beef's got 10. I think we're probably close. I can always turn it down a little bit and get going. Turn up my velouté a little bit. It's a nice thick gravy. So medium-high heat on this guy. And as soon as it gets there, again, easiest way to test, a little bit of water on your hands. Yeah, it's not popping yet, so it is definitely not ready. Okay, what next? I think I could probably plate dessert. So I'm gonna grab the tart out of the fridge. And with our son not at home, we definitely only need one tart to share between the two of us. So coming out of the fridge, maybe 5-10 minutes before you want to eat it. And I'm going to let it warm up to room temperature before I do all the garnishes. But I will take the tops off. Okay, so these guys I am sure are ready to go. So if you have the patience, put the Brussels sprouts flat side down. If you've got some leaves that are coming off, you can do one of two things. You can toss them, or you can try to pull them out halfway through, because they are going to cook a little bit faster than the rest of the Brussels sprouts. And this is totally optional. I just like to get a little more crunch on there. So it's not included in the instructions. But I love to get that caramelized flat side. It's just really nice for me. There we go. We don't need these guys. We'll get rid of them. Then the mushrooms, that probably require just a touch less. Oops, don't need that guy. Huh. That one, a little thicker than the rest. So I'm just going to cut it real quick. I think the chef probably purposely cut these a little bit thicker because they're going with the Brussels sprouts. So we want 5 minutes with the mushrooms and Brussels sprouts. Then we're going to add the butter melted in and hit it with some salt and pepper. And then it's going to be delicious after about 8 minutes. Okay. Let me talk about the red wine, because I got not much to do. This is a pretty easy dinner. This is a Clos del Rey Le Sabina, and it's from France, but it's right on the French and Spanish border. Blend of Grenache and Carignan, so a Rhone blend, and this stuff is amazing. It's from an appellation called Maury, which is known mostly for producing sweet red wines, dessert wines, almost like port, but French versions. Less alcohol, a little bit more structure, and I love this. It's got really fresh acidity, but it's big and fat and meaty, so it can stand up to the flavor volume of the beef, but still be fresh and delicious. I love this guy. We've definitely gone to a slightly more premium wine pairing option with this, because we only get to do these once a month, so we really want to send you something really special. Okay. Got a nice little brown sear going on. Hey Google, off. Hey Google, how much time's left on the timers? Very close. The potatoes will be done just before the beef. So keep sauteing these guys. They're going to suck up the oil, and that's okay. We're going to throw some butter in there in a little bit, but first we want to just roast them up nicely. And the chef always sends me with more veg than I need. So I'm just going to peel off the Brussels sprouts leaves. What I like to do in this case is just throw a little salt on it. And it's a little appetizer snack along the way. Okay. Oh yeah, the fish cakes. That's what the first timer was for. So flip it over. Back in the oven for 2 more minutes. And then we'll plate them up. The smells from that oven are gorgeous. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Love the little Brussels sprout snacks. Okay, so let's see what he says. Drizzle with coulis, then top with cherries, and finally crumble. Tell you what, I'm going to rewrite this, and we'll tell him about it. We've got these gorgeous Amarena cherries. If there's any juice in there, we might actually combine them because why are we doing this separately? I don't know. But drizzle it all up. I love Amarena cherries. It's one of literally my favorite things in the entire world. Make sure these guys are not burning. Roasting very nicely. And then our crumble right on top. There is your beautiful cherry cheesecake tart with the graham crumble and bourbon and cherry coulis. Move that along. Mushrooms and sprouts are doing well. And the little appetizer. I think we're close. We're going to throw the butter in there. And this is when we're going to hit it with some salt and pepper. If you ever want a class on tossing vegetables around in a pan, let me know. Something I perfected when I was like 17 years old, working at Pete Marty's in Orleans doing omelet duty for brunch. So we've got the remoulade now. Put that down half and half on each plate. Caper remoulade. That's going to go beside the fish cake. Yes, please. This is looking good. And again, we want the veg to be at the right time as the rest. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit now. And I'm going to take out the little leaves that have come off because I don't want them burnt. Nothing like burnt Brussels sprout leaves to take away from the joyousness of an Easter dinner. This guy might need a little more heat. The velouté, I wanted to throw on a little more steam off, so I'm turning it up. Okay, so I know the fish cakes are ready. So let's go plate those up. Chef is a huge fan of smoked fish. Hey Google, off. That's my potato, by the way. Don't put it on the countertop. That'll upset my wife. Smoked fish cakes with the lovely caper remoulade and frisee salad with buttermilk dressing. Get those out of the way. Main course. Keep giving these guys a stir. Our beef jus. So next up is our scalloped potatoes, or the potato pave. Put that just a little bit off to one side. Hey Google, off. She did well with all those different timers. I forgot the little snacks here. Hey, Google, off. Yeah, if there are any sort of Brussels sprout leaves that have pulled off that are a little too dark, just pull them out. I want to include that in the instructions. These are looking good. Put that on low, and the beef is ready to go. I have this beautiful brand new cutting board that someone got me for my birthday. I don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to put a trivet down. And we need one more pair of tongs to be able to serve the veg with. So mushrooms and Brussels sprouts, divide equally. And chef sent me with too many, especially for my wife, who is a much smaller person than I am. I want to make it all nice and pretty, so I'll put them all on the plate. Well, most of them on the plate. There's a lot here. And the beef, put it right on top. I always wonder which one is my Instagram one. I think I know. Whoops. You've got all this gorgeous beef jus and butter. You don't want that going to waste. Give that a go on top of the beef. Makes it look and taste delicious. Turn that guy off. Velouté's looking nice. Turn the oven off. And now I guess it's just the jus, the beef velouté. Use my same spoon here. And drizzle it around the plate. Make sure to get some on the potato pave, the scalloped potatoes, because it is really good with this stuff. I just want to give a special shout out to a good friend of mine who I know ordered a bunch of these meal kits to host Easter dinner at her place. Ann Joint, just want to say thank you and happy Easter. Thanks for ordering, and I hope you're doing well. All right, so there is that beautiful 72-hour braised beef short rib with the Brussels sprouts, cremini mushrooms, potato pave, and beef velouté. Cheers to you all. I hope you're surrounded by people you love this Easter. Thanks for ordering. Thanks for the support. And I really hope I get to see you in the restaurant really soon.